perhaps because the Prom is such a special place, it's much more than it's many parts to it. It's a place where people meet, etc., etc. And its depth is 23 meters or wider in places, and it 263 football pitches to tarmac. 17,000 tons of tarmac, 16,000 of asphalt. 3,000 cubic meters of concrete. So it's absolutely massive,
and 25 million sterling pounds as well.
Yes, it's absolutely huge. But like I say, it's not just the length, but the depth of the project. And you've got 8,500 meters of rail, 12,500 square meters of block paving, curbing, which is somewhere around about 9,000 meters as well. It's absolutely huge.
But it was just under 21 million that Tynwald agreed to previously, wasn't it? So has the cost gone up?
No, that's just the overall figure, including all of the things that have already happened in the past and all of the phase one and design fees and so forth. But obviously, we've been given a figure that we have to stick to and come under, and we'll be pushing the contractors both on, because now it's going on to tender, both on price and time. Timing is really critical for us. Well, we want to complete this as soon as possible.
Well, the Department of Infrastructure has just put out a document which answers what it's calling some frequently asked questions, and some answers contained within which perhaps we haven't seen before. This scheme is going to contain sea defence work, isn't it?
Yes, there's going to be elements of sea defence work, which is important to include now. Not all of it will be done now, but some key parts, certainly around the War Memorial and those parts. We want to integrate the schemes. There's no point doing one scheme and then coming back to do the sea defences later.
Well, have you costed that part of it out? Because previous sea defence schemes around the island have cost a lot of money.
That's already part of agreed work for sea defences. So the money for sea defences has already been budgeted and already been approved, and we already have the money for that.
How much money?
There's a number of millions across the island, but I think we're not talking necessarily. I know in Castleton it's about 2 million, but we're not talking huge. We're not talking. I haven't got the figure exactly here, but it's a lower figure, much lower than the overall scheme.
So under 2 million.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. What about this? What about this point about digging up the road? Because of course, for a lot of people, they fear that the roadway scheme, the highway scheme, is going to conclude, and then something like Manx Gas or Manx Utilities might just come along and dig it up again.
Well, this is what such an amazing thing about this design, and so much work has been put on it, because all the services are independently done. And in actual fact, we've been holding off our own highway drains. MUA have a lot of work on water and sewage that they want to do, and with their electricity and so forth. So all of that is basically been replaced, so that they'll be ducting and so forth. And what's interesting is nothing's been done since early 1930s, which is quite incredible. We're nearly, not coming far off to 100 years with when there weren't the services that we now anticipate now. So the Prom will be a whole new venture for the 21st century, including things like electrical charging points, a whole new street lighting scheme, but all the services will be there ready, so that you will not need to dig up and do it again. It's done once.
Well, that in itself raises a question about just what you're going to find underneath there.
Well, we know some of it. We know we've done deflectogram surveys and so forth. And for example, we know that the predominantly concrete slabs are cracking and giving transitional disturbance. So we know that it is not a good condition, which is why we need to reconstruct it from scratch. But it is a massive undertaking. As I say, it's been nearly 90 years since anything's been done. There's still the markings from the internment camps. That sort of goes to show that we've not really done anything to our Prom for so long.